Threats evolve fast, and security must evolve faster. Distinguished guests, colleagues, and fellow security professionals, a very warm good morning. It's an honor to address all of you at this well-organized Business World Security Conclave and Excellence Award Summit. I think the common theme for this event is the strategic shift of security from an operative unit to a strategic enabler. And that is what I would cover in this 25 to 30 minutes long keynote address. Broadly, the theme for my keynote would be covered around these 6 pillars that you see on the screen in terms of the coverage on trends, threats, and transformation. Let me begin with a story. Earlier this year, in February 2025, cybersecurity researchers from Trellix uncovered something truly very alarming. Across industries and geographies, they found close to 50,000 misconfigured and publicly exposed access control systems that were connected to the internet. These were not obscure systems. They were digital backbones controlling entry to corporate campuses, manufacturing plants, government buildings, and private offices. Misconfigurations meant that in many cases, as you see on the screen, no authentication was required to access the control panels. Anyone with basic technical knowledge could identify these systems and interact with physical entry points remotely, unlocking doors, changing permissions, or even disabling alarms. This was not the work of sophisticated nation states or cybercrime syndicates. It was simply vulnerable infrastructure, which was left exposed due to oversight and fragmentation between cyber and physical security teams. This discovery was reported globally and triggered urgent responses across multiple industries. It showed with chilling clarity that in modern world, a vulnerability in a digital system can literally open physical doors. It's available as a case study to be read on internet, and people who are interested in deeper dive on the subject can access this. For me, this incident was not just another headline. It was a symbol of the era that we are living in, an era where threats move faster than strategies, where the digital and physical are inseparable, and where security failures can cascade globally in hours. This is the reality we are living in. However, there is a newer reality as well, which is the landscape of conversion and acceleration between digital, cyber, and physical world. The World Economic Forum's 2024 Global Risk Report ranked cybersecurity failure and critical infrastructure breakdown among the top 5 global risks over the next decade. Not just in terms of likelihood, but in terms of impact. It also highlighted the increasing interdependence between digital and physical infrastructure, warning that the next generation of systemic crisis will not respect traditional sectorial boundaries. You see 3 cases on the screen. One is from Target, the second is from Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack, and the third one is from the German wind turbine company Nordex. What happened in Target was a very well-cited case where the internal phishing style compromise of a third-party HVAC vendor took place. And after attacking the internal system, they moved through the building control systems and eventually stealing 40 million payment card records. It led to operational disruptions, legal fallout, and leadership changes apart from financial losses. The next, on the Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack in the US, which took place in 2021. Target took place in 2013. Colonial Pipeline attack took place in 2021 in the US, which led to shutdown of 5,500 miles of fuel pipeline, causing widespread fuel shortages across multiple states. What began as a digital intrusion resulted in tangible physical and economic disruption, impacting millions of people. The third one is much more significant because this was a breach into a Viasat satellite intrusion, which was controlling access to the wind turbine control systems. It was an advanced attack. This took place in 2022, where a German company by the name of Nordex, and there are two more companies that were simultaneously affected, which disrupted the remote monitoring and control systems. There was no sabotage of the turbines, but it was more around the control systems, rendering them incapable of delivering service. This underscores the vulnerability of OpTech controlling physical infrastructure that can be compromised. All of these three incidents span over a decade, and they paint a very, very consistent picture. The perimeter of risk has expanded far beyond physical walls and firewalls. It now extends to third-party ecosystems, cloud platforms, connected devices, and human behavior. Threat actors exploit the weakest link in the interconnected chain, and increasingly the weakest link is the interface between cyber and physical systems. If you see the image below, it further shows that since the target attack, how many more attacks on similar lines have taken place. Now, what is changing? Security, with all that experience, is changing fast from a very traditional reactive monitoring, which the panel also touched upon prior to my coming in here. It's changing to intelligence-led physical security. Earlier, we used to do incident logs, manual reviews, human interventions to identify anomalies, and mostly as a post-event investigation, and that revelation used to happen after an incident. And that's why it's called reactive approach. What is changing now is that now there is intelligence-led physical security models, which means your systems can talk to HR, HRIS systems, HR databases, SAP systems, IT identity management tools, and also use real-time analytics platform. This helps in automation of anomaly detection and prevention before an event takes place. And also speed of response changes when you have such connected systems and technology at your disposal. Now, this shift is visible in growing adoption of security intelligence platforms, AI-driven access analytics, and converged SOC operations. According to Gartner's 2024 Physical Security Innovation Report, more than 62% of large enterprises have begun linking physical access data with IT and HR systems, resulting in 45% improvement in detection times for anomalous physical access events. This evolution reflects a broader truth that the future of corporate physical security is not defined by how fast teams can respond after an event. It is defined by how intelligently risks are detected and anticipated before incidents occur. The other shift is for the function itself, that the physical security function is moving from an operative unit or a cost function, essential cost, as you say, into a strategic differentiator. Initially, historically, I think the panel also touched that it was all guns, guards, and gates and cameras with limited involvement of core business discussions. This reality has changed. Today, physical security is being pulled into strategic core of organizations. Boardrooms are not only discussing digital threats, but also the resilience of physical infrastructure, security of global campuses, protection of critical assets, and continuity of operations during crisis. Again, according to Gartner's 2024 Enterprise Risk Leadership Survey, 72% of global CEOs identified security resilience, including physical infrastructure protection, as a top 5 strategic priority. Nearly half of the respondents here, which is 48%, reported involving the CSOs directly in business continuity and risk strategy planning for the first time. You can read the report. It's called CEO Strategic Priorities 2024, published by Gartner. Many factors drive this shift, from increasing convergence to geopolitical and supply chain risks to duty of care, brand protection, and operational continuity concerns. Physical security nowadays is no longer assessed only by incident response metrics. It's evaluated in terms of impact on organizational trust, resilience, and strategic agility. In this new reality, physical security is not a pure cost center. It's evolving into a strategic differentiator. Some more trends in terms of how the next-gen corporate security is shaping up. These are not theoretical trends. They are already having a play at the boardroom, control rooms, and digital platforms around the world. I want to focus on 4 trends here that I believe are most transformative and illustrate them with real stories, data, and personal reflections. One being intelligence-led security, which you see on the screen, from reactive to predictive. Threats now unfold at a pace and scale that human eyes alone cannot track. Modern security, therefore, must be intelligence-led, leveraging data, artificial intelligence, and predictive analytics to detect weak signals and respond proactively. Now, according to various industry reports by Grand View Research and Fortune Business Insights, the global security market was valued at over $140 billion in 2024, and is projected to exceed $210 billion by 2030, which is a growth of 6 to 7% annually. This reflects not only just rising security concerns, but a fundamental shift towards intelligence-driven, technology-enabled physical protection. Report by SIA, Singapore Industries Association, ASIS, Omdia, highlights that the combined global market for physical security equipment and services could reach $500 billion by 2026, employing over 30 million professionals worldwide. This scale underscores physical security's evolving role from a tactical operational function to a strategic pillar of business continuity and resilience. Further, there are more reports from Genetech, Garda, and Security Magazine, which also point towards accelerating adoption of the AI-based video analytics, cloud-managed access systems, hybrid security operations, and integrated cyber-physical architecture. These shifts are redefining how organizations detect threats, secure infrastructure, and align security operation with strategic business goals. The message is clear. Physical security is no longer confined to the perimeter. It is becoming a strategic enabler of trust, resilience, and competitive advantage. Last year, in 2024, IBM security report revealed that organizations using AI-driven security tools detected and contained breaches 108 days faster on an average than those without it. And it saved nearly $1.76 million per breach in cost. This is not a marginal improvement. It's the difference between containment and crisis. Now, coming to the evolution of the threat, we have seen few examples in my earlier slide, and there is more that is happening in terms of evolution of threats. It's more like trying to map a storm while standing in the middle of it, because the threat environment is becoming very, very complex these days. These are not linear or localized. They are networked, hybrid, and accelerating. They cut across borders, sectors, and domains. Now, according to World Economic Forum, Global Cybersecurity Outlook 2024, all these reports that I am quoting are from the last year, which means they are very recent. 93% of cybersecurity and business leaders believe geopolitical instability will lead to catastrophic cyber event within the next 2 years. And 86% of global organizations have already experienced at least one cyber event incident, major incident, with a physical consequence in the last 12 months. This ranges from operational downtime to compromised access systems. The shift from cyber to cyber physical impact is reshaping corporate risk models. Hybrid threats are now the new normal. Attackers no longer choose between digital or physical tactics, they simply combine them. For example, in the example that I showed in the slide on Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack, the attackers didn't directly hit the pipeline operational controls. They targeted IT billing systems, forcing the company to proactively shut down physical pipeline operations to prevent further spread. And the result, it was fuel shortage across the US East Coast, panic buying, and also making national headlines. These reports are available for you to read and review, but it's a perfect example of how digital disruption cascades into physical consequences. Another examples, few more case studies, one from Toyota, Tesla, and also the Hong Kong incident that everybody would be aware being very, very recent. What happened at Toyota is mostly a BEC business email compromise threat, where the insider navigated into siphoning of money from the company by email fraud. This was a major incident that made headlines, and also in terms of the deep fakes on the AI scam, we've heard that when the scam took place, everything on the scam except for the beneficiary was a deep fake. On the Tesla side, the insider gained access into critical information and stole a lot of data and putting company at huge financial losses. Now, in terms of the transformation that is taking place, primarily there are 3 pillars: intelligence-led security, integrated ecosystems, and culture and leadership, with the bedrock as AI predictive and proactive assessments, connected and aligned ecosystems, people trust and influence on the culture side. Leveraging AI, ML, and real-time analytics to detect anomalies earlier will be part of the intelligence-led security, and that is shaping up in the physical security domain as well, with more modern systems on access, CCTV, intrusion detection, command center softwares coming up with a lot of system integration and AI engines being imposed into the system. This helps create unified dashboards that integrate variety of threats on physical side, cyber side, and also the operational telemetry. The predictive modeling used by intelligence-led systems also help in allocating resources proactively. Now again, another report that I'll quote is IBM's 2024 data breach report. As per this report, organizations using AI security reduced breach costs by $1.76 million and response time by 108 days on an average. It amplifies decision making if you use technology integrated with physical security systems. It breaks silos between security, IT, HR, legal, and operations, and aligns security with business objectives. and also takes care of the risk appetite thresholds which companies want to have in place. It helps in engaging external stakeholders, law enforcement, regulators, vendors, communities as part of broader security ecosystem. In fact, the predictions from many research firms says that the third-party ecosystem will see increase in threats by nearly 60% in the next year. So this is an item for security professionals to watch, because there is a very high reliance on third-party systems and vendor ecosystem, which as a security professional, we should have a deep insight into this. Culture, again, is the ultimate force multiplier. Training employees for adaptive security awareness, empowering people to speak up when they speak anomalies, rewarding them if required as your brand ambassadors, and developing security leaders who can articulate risk in business language and influence at the board level. These are some skills to shape up, to develop a proactive security culture which is resilient and forward-looking. I often say you can't automate judgment. That remains human. So building a culture is very, very important to see that you reap the benefit and stay ahead of evolving threats. Now, a glimpse into the future, security as a strategic advantage. This is more a concept which you would see in future across organizations. Some early bird organizations we are picking up this, are already adopting such changes with business continuity people, cyber people, geopolitical experts, and physical security experts sitting in a unified command center and operating as a collective one team. And that is going to be the future, because as you see more and more connected applications and connected systems, this is the true value generator for the organization, where security will also step up from being an operative function to a key value contributor to business imperatives. Metrics that we present will not be like number of incidents, but will be more how much of business continuity aspects were enabled, how much of brand trust was preserved, and what is the competitive risk mitigated. Those will be new metrics for the security function. Even the job roles may change over time, with more and more tech integrated roles coming into the picture for corporate security function, which has remained very, very physical traditionally, but that time is changing, as I said. So what I wish to say is that we should be having the capability to anticipate emerging threats and also help preserve the trust of all our stakeholders. With that, I come to the end of my session. And in the end, all I can say is either be led by the change or be part of leading the transformation. Choice is yours, and it'll be a very, very strategic imperative. So build the future that you wish to have. Thank you.